Hey guys, what's up? N101 right here, and today's video is going to be about Sulawesi Water Skink care. So let's get right into it. Okay, so to start off, I'm just going to give some general information about Sulawesi Water Skinks. So Sulawesi Water Skinks, also known as Tropodiphorus baconi, are semi-aquatic lizards from the island of Sulawesi located in Indonesia. So these skinks reach a length of 10 to 12 inches, with females typically being larger than males. As you can see here, as well as in the intro, this is the male skink. So a very important requirement for these guys is to have lots of available clean water. So here I have, it's about 1/3 the tank, and I have a 55-gallon tank, and it's filtered water with lots of plants which help clean it up even more. And these guys do drink a lot of water. I see them drinking it quite often, and it's very important for them because they do get dehydrated quite easily. So as I mentioned earlier, I have a 55-gallon vivarium or polydarium for these guys, and I really wouldn't recommend going much smaller than a 20-gallon long for these guys. They are a decent sized lizard, and they do use their space a lot. I see these guys running around all the time, and they're very inquisitive animals, and they're really awesome to watch, and you want to have a large space for them to run around in. So in the tank with these guys, I keep 2 rosy red minnows. There's one behind that leaf. You might have saw them, and I'm not sure the other one is, but I wouldn't recommend putting any amphibians or other reptiles in here, because I've read some online forums that say they tend to bite chunks out of amphibians such as newts and frogs and stuff, and they could prey on smaller reptiles such as small geckos and stuff. So I wouldn't really recommend putting anything else with these guys besides a couple fish and maybe shrimp. They might eat shrimp, I'm not sure. All the shrimp that I put in here seem to disappear. So okay, so for diet for these guys, they eat insects, so they don't really eat plants. So I would recommend feeding them things like crickets, doobie roaches, mealworms, the hoshbeal, all the common feeder insects that I already found. Okay, so for heating and lighting for these guys, you want to keep the ambient temperature in the tank in the low 80s, around 82, 83. And for a UVB basking spot, I would recommend in the higher 80s, maybe like 88-ish. And then there's my UVB bulb. It emits a little bit of heat, but my room's already pretty warm, so it heats it up just to the perfect temperature. And then there's their basking spot on the log. And they really tend to enjoy basking sitting on the log and on the bank right here. Okay, so as for plants for these guys, you can really use anything that's non-toxic or non-poisonous, because even though they themselves might not eat the plants, the feeder insects might if you let them go in the tank, which I do, because they're not quite used to me yet, so I can't really tongue feed them yet. So I just let them go in the tank. And so some good starter plants that you might want to use would be this. This is a peperomia, I believe, and then the one behind it is like a Nephestes or something. And then over here we have another type of pothos. There's the white leaf one right there. Can't go wrong with pothos. I have 2 types in this tank. I have that one, as well as the one in the water over there, which is the more common pothos. As well as umbrella plant. You see this a lot with chameleons, but it works well with these guys as well, and I think it looks really awesome. Another good plant would be the red nerve plant, as well as polka dot plants, but I have the red nerve plant in here. And it looks awesome, and it's really hard to kill. So that's always good. So substrate for these guys should be a fairly thick layer of any good vivarium substrate. I'm using a mixture of eco earth and sphagnum moss. It's just kind of mixed in there. It used to be on the top, but now it's just kind of mixed in wherever. So it should be fairly thick. These guys do burrow a little bit. Mine's not that thick, but I do have thicker places where they can burrow, like in that corner under that log over there. So humidity for these guys should be between 50 to 80%. They are from Indonesia, which is a fairly humid place. Also, if you have a larger water section, like I do, it will help to keep the humidity up and just make maintenance easier. So if you don't have a good tank that holds humidity very well, you're going to want to spray them down more often. I spray mine down typically every day to every other day, depending on if the soil is still moist or not. And it really helps to have one of the big sprayers that you pump and then you can just hold down and just spray. That's how I water the plants too. Just give it a nice heavy misting. And I already misted it today, so I'm not going to mist them that much. But that helps keep humidity up as well as water the plants and keep them alive. Sulawesi water skinks are not aggressive at all, really. Same with most reptiles. But they're really just skittish. They can be handled and they can be tamed down. I would recommend to keep that at a minimum though. I'm still working with mine. I'm trying to get them at least tame enough so I can tongue feed him, and so I'm gonna try to pick him up for you guys now. Hopefully he doesn't run away. And there he goes. So after a little bit of wrangling for you guys, I got him. He's still a little squirmy. Usually he's not this squirmy, but here he is. Oh, calm down. As you can see, these guys are a really awesome skink if you'd stay still. They have a really nice tail there. Looks like alligators or crocodiles or whatever. There they are. They're really awesome skinks. If you can find them, get them. They're not too expensive. I got my pair for $100 to $50 each, and it was definitely worth it. These guys are really awesome. So the female is inside this log. I don't really want to stress her out, but I'm gonna get her out anyways for video purposes. I usually don't get them out. I usually just leave them alone and just watch them, but I want you guys to see her. Okay, so here's the female. As you can see, she's quite a bit bigger than the male. She's longer and fatter, but she's healthy. The male is too. They both look good, and here she is. She's the more aquatic of the two. She hangs out in the water more, and I see the male running around on land more. So a quick overview for these guys. Sulawesi water skinks are from Indonesia. It's humid there. Keep the humidity 50 to 80%. It's also kind of warm, so ambient temperature should be between 82 to 83 degrees Fahrenheit. And the basking spot with UVB, which is also important, should be between 88 to 90-ish. Live plants as well, they're always beneficial as long as they're non-toxic and safe for feeder insects to eat, not the skinks, because they don't eat plants. But you don't want the insects to eat something poisonous and then have that pass on to your animals. So make sure plants are safe. A deep layer of substrate is important for these guys. I would recommend 3 inches in like the lowest spots, and you need to have deeper areas. I do have deeper areas, and they do burrow in them a lot, and that's where their main hides are, and they really do appreciate it. Diet for these guys should include a variety of calcium and vitamin dusted insects such as crickets, dubia roaches, mealworms, superworms, and all your other generic feeder insects. As for handling for these guys, it is possible they can be tamed down. Not recommended though. Only in like when you need to, kind of like amphibians. So that's gonna wrap it up for this video, guys. If you guys have any comments, questions, or concerns, please put them down in the comment section below. I'll be sure to answer them. And thank you for watching.